What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Best Bet show. We're officially back after that weekend, I guess, of being away. Your boy got married. Shout out to the ring. Chris Paul, James Harden got nothing on me. Besides that, we're back. We got some beautiful games to play. I got my Justin Tucker jersey on. You got, I don't even know who that is. Probably Jalen Hurts, if I had to guess.
Come on now. Congratulations on the marriage, man. You did it.
I did it.
It's awesome. You
How
picked
have things been? How was the week without me?
the week was electric. I can't lie. I mean, it was a great weekend. We had some crazy tweets go viral. We had great plays. I swept week 1, 4-0 on the weekend. I love that. But it was a good weekend, man. I was sad not to see your content out there. But bigger and better things. Life calls, duty happens. You'll be
It
here
is
for week 2.
It is what it is. So we got Thursday right here. We're gonna have a video on Sunday as well with more plays for the weekend, but we want to make these Thursday games and episodes focus on the one game that we're gonna watch tonight. So we have the Eagles and the Vikings. Austin definitely hates watching the Eagles on prime time, as we discussed before. What are your thoughts after week 1 for the Eagles going into this game? How are you feeling?
Honestly, I'll be lying if I didn't say I was nervous. I do lean the Eagles on this. I think they're the better team. The Vikings didn't show much either, but the Eagles, I mean, they played a gritty, tough football game. That Patriots team is going to be better this year. I was expecting kind of a blowout with how the game started. We pulled away 17-0 super early, and it kind of just didn't turn to that. It was a grind. Jalen had 5 or 6 possessions in a row where he had to punt. So the offense was super stagnant. Goddard without a catch. DeAndre Swift 1 touch, a lot of key pieces not getting their looks. So that's what happens with a new OC and a new DC, but definitely going to expect some changes and hope they can spread the ball around a little. And Philly's missing a few guys on the defensive side of the ball with injuries. No Blankenship, no Nakobe Dean. Fletcher Cox might miss. No James Bradbury. So, I mean, this Vikings offense showed last season they can make big plays. Kirk isn't the greatest on primetime stuff, but I'm not totally buying that narrative. I think he's still going to be the same player that he's been like throughout his career, So I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a pretty good shootout game. A lot of the books think offense oriented. So that's kind of what I look at early.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think last year too, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just going off the top of that here. I think last year the Eagles did the same thing where they were off to a monster start. I think they played the Lions in week 1, and the Lions just crawled their way back to kind of make it tough, and then they eventually snuck it out. But and then week 2,
We
same
went.
situation. It was
We went.
Vikings
Yep.
prime time, and they blew them out the water. So
I'm hoping history repeats. I think you said it best. I hope it repeats. We've owned this team prior. I mean, we'll be seeing though.
I think the over is definitely what everyone's going to be talking about for good reason. A lot of props to target here. Vikings defense is kind of Eagles defense is better, but missing a lot of key pieces. So it should be interesting. And that kind of leads us to our first play. I'll you talk about it a little more. Zach Cunningham over 5.5 tackles and assists, -110 over on MGM. Tell us why we love that.
Absolutely love this spot. He should be logging a lot of the middle linebacker snaps now that Nakobe Dean's down. It's going to be him or Christian Ellis. He played a ton of snaps even with Nakobe Dean last week and recorded 4 tackles, but super different game. Mac Jones threw 55 passes last week. And I mean, Kirk could throw that many, but I also think with him being in the middle of the field now, Hawkinson's going to get a few grabs. Madison's going to be a few grabs, like dump off, check down stuff. And that's perfect for Zach Cunningham. TJ Edwards played this role last season and had 11 tackles and assists for Philly in virtually the same type of matchup. Super similar spread as last season, super similar game log. So I just think it's a great spot with the number of snaps he's playing, and he's gonna have to lead this defense in tackles. Someone in the middle of the field's gonna do it, and I think it's him tonight.
Yeah, I agree. I think the position he plays is very prime for this type of play. You kind of get the middle of both actions there. And the way that the Vikings kind of played week 1, this seems perfect. Hawkinson ran a lot of smaller routes, things across the middle. He didn't really do, but I think you're going to get some slot action. I think Jefferson's going to get a lot of eyes. And I think that the Vikings are going to have to find other options to try to beat the Eagles. And I think he's going to be in the mix of literally everything, play a ton of snaps. And he got 4 uh, last week. I think this is a better matchup. He's going to have to carry a heavier load. So definitely love the 5.5 tackles and assists. I'm going to the Eagles playing well that we talked before. Our second play, Eagles first half team total over 13.5, minus 130 on DraftKings. Eagles crushed this number last year. They crush it at home. It's a key number at 13.5. 2 touchdowns will do it. I think they can do that. I'm also on Jake Elliott extra points, so I would appreciate them doing this in the first half. And the Eagles just seem like perfect week for Jalen Hurts to kind of get back in rhythm, find the end zone, and the Eagles to just dominate in the passing game, as the Vikings allowed most teams to do so last season. The Bucks are not a good comp for an Eagles team, so I know the Bucks still snuck out a victory, but they didn't. They're not as much of an offensive threat as the Eagles. So I think the Vikings are going to learn how it is tonight, especially on primetime.
Yeah, and I think that's well said. I mean, the Bucks of all teams went and beat the Vikings. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like that's a bad week 1 loss. That's as bad as it comes. Kirk turned it over 3 times. But Jalen didn't play great either, and they still were resilient enough to win. The defense definitely won them that game with the 2 turnovers they forced in the first half. And Philly just snuck by, honestly. But I think 13.5 is a great number. Jalen's going to play better. I mean, the player of the game was Jake Elliott last week. He kicked 3 field goals. I would assume you see them get into the end zone a little bit more and
absolutely.
not be as reliant. They also kicked a few times on some short yardage plays where most times they're going to go for those plays, if they're not already up. So I really like this spot.
I agree. I think the total is high too. Good for touchdowns, good for points, as we talked about before. So it's a good spot for them. Those are the 2 show plays. Then going to a fun SGP we have for you guys. It's going to be plus 520, playable on FanDuel, so everyone can play it. We'll just get right into it. Hawkinson, 40 plus yards. Should get a ton of receptions as well today. I think they're going to use him a lot. Again, we think Jefferson's going to take a lot of eyes. Eagles a little limited defensively. And I think that he may get some quick throws, and hopefully he can maybe break a tackle or 2. But I think either way, I think he's looking at 5-6 catches for 50, 60 yards. And if he breaks one, we should get this easily. What are your thoughts on this leg?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I think without Reed Blankenship, you just took away their best coverage guy to tight ends last week. And I mean, the Eagles allowed 86 yards to Mike Gesicki and Hunter Henry combined,
Yeah.
86 yards on nine touchdowns or 9 receptions. The Vikings only have 1 tight end. You know what I mean? They're not going to have 2 guys spread around like that. So I think that production will go to TJ Hawkinson, and I love it at 40.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of another 40, we're going to Devontae Smith at 40 plus yards. And we chose this because similarly to the Jefferson, AJ Brown's going to get a lot of eyes. He should still perform. I mean, he really should. But we're looking at Devontae Smith to get 40 plus yards. I mean, he's sneaky. You look at his game logs, he is just always there. 7 catches last week, 10 targets on 47 yards. And we have a Vikings team where he went 7 catches for 80 yards last year. Vikings, the pass game is always there to exploit. I love Devontae Smith at 40 plus yards. This could be 2 catches, maybe even 1 catch on a little deep ball here.
Yeah, spot on. And I mean, let's be real. The Eagles have the matchup advantage with Devonta Smith and AJ Brown. There's not anybody in their personnel defensively to cover these guys. So you could talk me into either player, but Smith at 40 yards, I think he crushes this line today.
Yeah, he's hit in 9 consecutive weeks dating back to last year too in the regular season. So nothing. I mean, I love that spot. It's obviously heavily juiced, watered down, but should hit there for the SGP. Then we're going to AJ Brown touchdown. He's the go-to guy. If Jalen Hurts is not going to run the ball on himself, there could be a little dump off to Swift maybe, but I think if he's throwing the ball, I think AJ Brown is the money hands in the end zone, and that's really going to give us a lot of nice odds on this parlay. And then the last leg, Eagles first half team total over 13.5, as we talked about before. Those are the 4 legs plus 520. Any other thoughts on this?
Dude, this would not surprise anyone if it hit. I mean,
Exactly.
you can't look at that and tell me that's probably not hitting.
I think if AJ Brown gets that touchdown, I think we're cruising. And if he gets touchdown in the first half, I
Ooh,
mean,
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
That's what we're looking for.
First tutty.
Exactly.
Come
So
on now.
that's the plays right there. Zach Cunningham over 5.5 tackles and assists. Eagles first half team total over 13.5. And the SGP for fun. Let's have ourselves an awesome week. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. More fun stuff coming this Sunday. And we'll catch you guys next time on the Best Bet Show. Peace.